What's up? What's up? Good night, everyone. How you guys doing tonight? Hope everyone is doing well. Happy gardening, everyone. What's up, guys? What's up? How you guys doing? All right. I have a few I have an announcement to make concerning the Herb Garden Challenge. So I want to get that out the way. So yeah, let me get that out the way. All right. Anyway, what's up, guys? What's up? What's up? Happy to see you guys because gardening season is wrapping up. Happy to see each and every one of you, man. Thank you, guys. I have to say, thank you all for all the support. Truly appreciate that. Thank you all for help promoting the Herb Garden Challenge. I truly appreciate that as well. I'm very grateful because at the end of the day, we all know, we all know how good this thing could turn out. We could learn so much. Okay. All right. Okay. So let me a second. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. What's up, people? What's up, people? How you guys doing, man? All right. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. So as we know, this is garden season. And you all know when it's garden season, we busy. Oh, yes. When it's garden season, we actually busy. All right. There's a lot of people already start planting, and there's a lot of people who already start sowing seed. There's a lot of people as well who also trying to keep their plants alive indoors, which it's a challenge, but it's worth it. Because sometimes, especially if you're in a short growing area zone, sometimes the time is so short that if you wait until spring to start sowing seed and start doing these things, you're going to be way behind. So a lot of us start from indoors. Yes. And if you're in the south, you could definitely be planting at this time. If you're in the south, but what can you plant? What can you plant at this moment in the south? Well, you could plant cabbage, you could plant broccoli, you could plant cauliflower, you could plant scallion, you could plant onion, all these type of plants you could plant at this time. So get busy, man. Get busy. Don't wait till the spring rush upon you to now trying to get stuff together because you're gonna fall behind. You wanna be ahead. You wanna be ahead for garden season. You wanna able to say, okay, I had such a beautiful, productive garden season. You wanna have enough time that your plants, your fruits, your vegetables can get enough time to mature. So if you wait too late, that could be a problem. So tonight we're basically going to talk about container garden. Most we're going to talk about container garden because A lot of people do container garden. Maybe more backyard gardeners do more container gardening than in-ground garden. Some also do raised bed garden, right? But at the end of the day, container garden is getting more and more popular. Why? Because not everybody have the space. Some people dealing with balcony. Some people might have a little area in their backyard and they just want to utilize the space. So they grab some containers and they start growing something, which make a lot of sense because growing something is better than growing nothing. Okay, so tonight I want to give the container gardeners some ideas of preparing your container and also choosing the right size of container to grow your food. Because without the right size, you back in your production. It's better for the plants to be able to have enough root, enough their root able to grow as far as they want to grow than you put them in a container and you back in their root from growing. One thing we got to remember that in-ground garden and container garden is different, right? When I say different, what I mean, in in-ground garden, there's soil, there's enough room. So if you prepare the plant right, the plant can grow, spread its root, develop into the stage that it wants to, because it have the area to spread. Your job is to help soften the soil around the roots. So when they're able to push these new roots, they could able to push through and develop. Once you're able to get these roots able to get developed, that's where production comes in. But if the roots not able to develop, that's where it could fail. Okay, so if you in container, if you do in a container garden and you decide I want to do container garden, I'm not going to deal with the in-ground, I just want to do container garden. So when the weather change, I can just lift up my container and maybe take them indoors. That's cool. That's cool, especially your herbs. Sometimes you could take up your container and put them indoors in your garage or in your um, greenhouse if you have one. So now you put them in containers so they're easier to deal with than if you actually have them in ground. If you have them in ground, you got to go and dig them out in the fall, put them in the container and take them indoors, which could be challenging as well. So some people prefer, let me just deal with the container, which nothing is wrong with that. Nothing at all. When we're dealing with container garden, right? When we're dealing with container garden, no, we want to make sure that our container is actually the right size for the plant. Okay? You want to make sure the container is the right size for the plant. I'm looking a little blurry. Give me a minute, guys. Let me go out and come back in. Okay. All right, looking better. Okay, so now we want to make sure that the container supposed to be big enough. Okay, you cannot have a plant with big roots in a small container. I'm going to say this again. You cannot have a plant with big root in a small container. What's going to happen? Your production, you wouldn't get the production you're looking for. So the best thing for you to do is to make sure you choose the right size container. The right size container that the root of the plant can actually grow and develop the way it's supposed to. If, like I mentioned, if the container is too small, the production we're gonna slow down the production, and you stand a chance of not seeing too much or not getting what you expect. To get the most out of the plant, this is your first step. Choosing the right container is your first step. Choosing the right size. I'm not telling you to go and buy expensive containers. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the right size. So it got to have some depth, and it also got to have some width. Some plants push their root pretty deep. Good night, so blessed. How you doing? Yes, some plants push their root pretty deep. And some plants also spread their root. Some plants spread, some plants push their root pretty deep. For instance, ginger, if you're growing ginger and you actually growing ginger in a container, ginger don't go that deep. They don't push their root that deep, but they spread. So now, if you notice, when you harvest, it's almost Friday. Yes, it sure is. If you notice, when you harvest in ginger, if you notice, what you see, it comes out like this. The root, it comes out. The ginger itself spread out. It don't go down. So a plant like ginger, you could more look for width instead of depth. The width instead of the depth. So if you have the width that the plants can spread for ginger, that's good. The depth is not really that important because it spreads. So this is the thing you got to know about the plants. What you got to know about the plants is how deep the roots go and how wide the roots go. This is how you choose your container. Hi, Patty's Kitchen. How you doing? Thank you for being here. Yes, this is how you choose your container. Sometimes, guys, at the end of the year, of the end of your growing season, this is a good way of seeing, making a judgment of the size of the root. At the end of the season, you pull up the crop, you pull up the plant, and you look at the size of the root. Now, when you look at the size of the root, that size, all right, good. Thank you for coming through. Yes, when you look at the size of the root, what's going to happen? It's going to give you an idea of what size container you need. Because before you think about the soil, you got to think about the container. Before you think about the soil, you got to think about the container. So we're talking about container garden, but I got to deal with the container, then we're going to step into the soil for a minute. But right now, we're going to talk about the container. Like I now mentioned, the price of the container That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the size. So if you get a container for $2, once the size is right, that's what we're talking about. I'm not telling you to go out there and buy a container for $50 and what. No. I wouldn't buy a container for $50 to plant a cabbage or a pepper. No, that's too expensive. So I wouldn't do that. But when you're talking about the size, it's very important because this is where you get production. When you talk about plants that grow tall, like okra, you might be planting okra in a container. Remember, okra could get real tall. So now you want a container, a deep container. You want a deep container. Why? Because you want to plant the plant down inside the container. So while it's growing, you add in soil around it. You see, because you want that root to anchor down in the container. Because the plant is growing, the taller the plant go, the stronger root system it needs. So you got to make sure you have a deep. You see a 5-gallon bucket? A 5-gallon bucket. Hey, life from scratch, how you doing? A 5-gallon bucket, it's a perfect depth. You see the depth? A 5-gallon bucket is a perfect depth to plant okra, peppers, these type of plant. If it was a little wider, it would have been the perfect size. But you still can stand a chance. Your plants could do well in a 5-gallon bucket. You just cannot plant it up to the rim. You got to plant it down in the bucket. So while it's growing, you keep adding soil. So what's going to happen is going to anchor down inside the bucket. So you wouldn't have to worry about when the wind blow, it push it to one side. It's important to anchor the roots them in the container, okay, or in your raised bed, wherever. This is why I always recommend deep, because deep is important. Okay, so cabbage, you also could grow cabbage in a container. You just want to make sure that is deep enough. For me, a cabbage, what I judge with cabbage root, you could actually use a container 12 inches deep, 12 inches wide. That will be a beautiful size for a cabbage. Because when you look at the cabbage root, it don't spread too much, and the depth of it, it will walk in a 12. So even in a 5-gallon bucket, it will do perfect in a 5-gallon bucket. Cauliflower, the same thing. So many different plants. So for you to have a more understanding, wait until the crop end. When the crop end, that's where you pull the plants up, look at the roots. So for next season, you have a better understanding of what size container you should have. So this is how you learn. And gardening, you're supposed to be learning. This is your garden. This is you planting. This is you growing. This is your food. So the more you learn, the more better it's going to be for you. The next season, you should get better at the next season because for what you learned this year. Number one, what I want you to think of, I want you to think of how much plant can you control, can you handle. This is very important, guys. How much plant can you handle within your garden season? This is important. Why this is important? Ask yourself this question. How much plant can I deal with in the garden season? This is important. Why it's important? Because you want to plant enough that you could handle and take care of. You want to plant the amount that you could handle and take care of. Because if you plant too much, and you cannot take care of them, then your production, you're not gonna, you see what I'm saying? You're not gonna like your production. Because if you can't take care of them, they're gonna produce less. But if you're able to take care of them, they're gonna produce more. So it's important to know how much plant can you handle within the growing season. That's very important. Very, very important. Now, let's move over to the soil for a minute now. I'm dealing with just container. Tonight is just about container garden. I'm not going raised bed. I'm going to stick to container garden. Right. Now, when we thinking about container garden, it's good to think in the fall. It's good to start prepping in the fall or in the winter. So you're thinking about container garden, you start prepping your container in the fall or in the winter. This is so important, guys. Why is it important to start prepping in the fall or the winter? Hey, Fifi Urban Homestead, how you doing? Thank you for being here. Why is it important to start prepping in the fall? Because when you prep in the fall, your soil is breaking down. You might be saying, oh, it's too cold, it mightn't be doing not. No, it is working and it is happening. So you allow it to let nature walk on it. Just leave, especially if you leave it outside in the rain, the cold weather, everything dealing with it, nature actually dealing with it, it's going to actually break down. It's going to break down. So by the time, all right, wonderful. By the time you're ready to plant, even if they fully break down, it's already start breaking down, and that's what's important. Sometimes for the people, because I know not everybody have access to leaf and the grass and these things. For the people who go to the store and buy compost for your garden, this is just compost you're buying, guys. What you're buying compost. So if something, a good suggestion is, when you buy the compost in the bag, you mix it with some soil, with some dirt, maybe the dirt in your backyard. You mix it in with some soil, because this compost is just compost. This compost is supposed to be adding nutrient to soil. Soil is what you're supposed to be planting your food into. The stuff we add only supposed to be adding nutrients, minerals to our soil. Sometimes when you be careful when you go and buy these bags. Sometimes if there's an open bag, you open, you feel, you check it. You check it to see if it actually breaks down. Because sometimes when you look at them, sometimes you still seeing wood chip inside of it. And wood chip, that doesn't mean it break down. Wood chip take time to break down. You see, so feel the texture, feel and see if these compost break down and ready to feed your plant. Because if it ain't ready to feed your plant, it's not going to be adding anything to it, because it has to break down first. You see what I'm saying? And many of these things, many of them, we told her, a variety of aspects. How you doing? Thank you for being here. Many of them did not break down. So be mindful of that. When you go to the store, if you go into the store and you're buying compost, make sure you check the compost, see if it breaks down good enough. If you're seeing wood chip in it, then choose something else. Because that wood chip take time to break down, it's not actually going to be feeding your plants. Okay? It's going to be taking time. No, this is why I'm saying start preparing your soil in your container in the fall, in the winter. Why? Because if it didn't break down, at least it's going to start breaking down. The good thing about when these natural stuff start breaking down, the good thing about it, what they do, they release. They're releasing, while they're breaking down, they're releasing nutrients, carbon, mineral in the soil. And this is what the plant love. So if you're able to do it in the fall, in the winter is the best time. Don't wait till the spring. Okay, you want to start breaking down already, releasing nutrient in the soil. So when you put the plant into the soil, the plant actually could feed from the new, it's already receiving the nutrient. Okay, something that is very, very easy to break down is grass clipping. Maybe you might cut your lawn and you're able to get the grass clipping that break down pretty fast. So that's something, if you don't have access to the leaf and the tree trunk and these things, if you're buying from the store and you're cutting your lawn, you could use that and let it break down pretty fast. So you could add that into your container in the fall. By the time the spring, it's already start breaking down and turning, and it's releasing. It's already releasing nutrients. So actually, the plants could get something from it. But always remember to mix the soil. Mix the soil with the compost. Don't just plant them in the compost. Mix it with the soil, the dirt, whether it's clay dirt, what kind of dirt you think you have and you believe it might be poor, mix it with compost. Don't just plant it in compost. The compost is to add to the soil. All right? So after we get our container, first we choose our right container. That's the first thing we do as a container garden. We choose our right size container. Make sure you get containers that can house your plant, that the plant could produce, the plant could develop the way it's supposed to. I'm going to tell you this, guys, believe it or not, plants have a time. They have a time when after they plant, straight to harvest time. They have a time. After you plant them straight to harvest time, there's a certain time frame that they're supposed to grow, develop, harvest. And if you ain't do it right, you could make the plant go even longer than it's supposed to. You see what I'm saying? So this is why it's important to follow these steps. Put these steps in place that the plant could grow and develop in its right time, in the space, in the time frame, in its own time frame. If we hold the plant back, this is where the plant might delay on its process because we holding it back. We're not giving it what it needs. First thing, biggest mistake we make is put it in a small container. That's our biggest mistake. Small container. Another mistake, just planting them in just compost. They need soil. They need dirt. The compost is supposed to add the nutrients to it. That's another mistake. Another mistake is while transplanting them, damaging their root. That's another mistake. Transplanting them, damaging their root, that's a slow down mistake. I'm going to give you some mistake. Well, hold on, let me see. About how much mix quarter to 3/4. Well, okay. From my own experience and my own research, this is my research. The soil, the soil supposed to be, you're supposed to be 70% soil and 30% compost. This is from my own experience, my experiment. 70% soil, dirt, whatever you're using, and 30% compost. So whatever mix you make, try this method. Try this method. 70% soil, dirt, whatever you call it, 30% compost. The compost should never overpower the soil, the dirt. This is why we just, if you notice what we do, we just sprinkle sometimes a little compost around the plant. We just sprinkle, you know, give it a little sprinkle. We don't just overshadow it with compost. Okay, I hope I answer your question there. Yeah, so big mistake, wrong size container. Big mistake. Big mistake not mixing the soil with compost and just planting it in the compost. Not a mistake. Not a mistake. Transplanting and damaged roots. That's a big mistake. You're welcome. Because when you damage root, no, remember I told you, and I will tell you, your plants have a time frame of when it's supposed to harvest. Growing and harvest. You have to take care of this plant and make sure it keep up with the time frame. Because if you ain't do it right, you could slow the growth. And by slowing the growth could cause many different problems. Slowing the growth could cause them to their production to be less. Slowing their growth can also make you end up in, depends on what time you grow plant, in the fall season when the frost come. So you can't afford to slow growth. So these, what I'm saying here is very important. Try these things if you're looking for production. All these is things I already experiment and it works. It doesn't matter where you're growing food. Whether you're growing food in the north, you're growing food in the south, you're growing wherever. These plants still have a time frame that they're supposed to produce. And if you back them, you making their production slow down. The next thing I'm going to tell you again. Now, when you set your seedlings, I mentioned this in a live 2 weeks ago. You guys can go back and check my live them about gardening. There's a lot of information in these live. You could all go back and check them. You could also check out my channel, tons of information. A matter of fact, I now post a video about planting and how to plant for great production. If you look over my shoulder there, you're going to see me have some cabbage and some kale. Do you see the beauty? Do you see how healthy they're looking? That's what I'm trying to get you to get to. Healthy looking plant or growing organic. Now, let's go back to what I was going to say. Seedlings. You got to, the process from setting seed is a real serious thing. You know what I'm saying? When you really study it, man, it's an amazing, it's amazing when you study it. Okay? Because you set the seed, you got to know how much water to give them, you got to take care of them, you got to care for them, especially you got to deal with them indoors. You got to make sure it's not too cold. You got to make sure the temperature is just right. After you do all that, now you still got to put them outside. When the spring comes, you still got to put them to get hard enough, meaning put them in an area where the heat could not, where the heat cannot penetrate them, but they could feel humidity, but not the heat. You got to leave them there for a time, right? Then you got to transplant them. Now, wherever you sow your seed, this is another important process. This is real science here. Wherever you sow your seed, right? If you make sure wherever you transplanting them, the soil must be better than where it comes from. All right? Wherever you're moving them and transplant them, the soil, the condition have to be better. It cannot be worse. Because if it was, it actually reversing the process. So instead of the plant go forward and continue growing, it reversing. It have to be better. This plant already conditioned itself. Okay? It's already conditioned itself for poor soil. It's conditioned itself. Even it want nutrient, it's not doing its best in the poor soil. But the thing about it is, you doing your best to make sure it survive. You training the plants, right? How you training the plants? Water. You controlling how much water I give these plants, right? You controlling how much water you giving these plants. You also controlling how much nutrients they're getting out of this soil, because you already know this is poor soil. When you transplant them, these plants already know how to survive from little water. It's already know how to survive from poor soil, right? No, you can't take it to a place where it's going to be getting less water and poor condition. You got to take it to a place now. It either remain getting the same amount of water that it used to, or maybe a little more, but it can't be less. So you got to transplant it to an area where the soil is better. So when you transplant it to the area where the soil is better, that's where the plants start growing, especially if you ain't damage the root. Well, you know, that's another main part. If you're able to transplant a plant from poor soil into rich soil without damaging the root, the plant gonna just take off and start growing. But if you take it from poor soil, put it in poor soil and giving it less water, that can be a problem. Believe it or not, these plants sensible, and these plants already, you could train them. You see what I'm saying? You could train them to love water, or train them to could survive from whatever weather come by. Hey, Sissy Texas, how you doing? Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for being here, guys. I appreciate you guys coming through. All right. Don't forget, guys, to hit that like button, because this is real information I'm giving you guys here. This ain't no joke information. Real information. And I want you all to try it if you can and see the result and come back and tell me if it works. All right? So, yes. So, you cannot take the plant from poor condition and put it in poor condition. You got to put the plant in better condition. Just like you growing them indoors, right? The condition ain't right. You already know the condition ain't right. They're not getting enough sunlight. They're not getting enough nutrient. They're not getting enough mineral. They're not getting all of that. Then you understand? But guess what? You see what they're doing? They're still holding on. They're still trying to survive under the little light you're giving them. They still try to survive. So now, when you take them from indoors, you can't take them into a room where there's no light and there's no mineral. You got to take them outdoors. You see what I'm coming from? Where they're going to get the sunlight, where they're going to get the minerals, where they're going to get the nutrients, where they're going to get exactly what they're looking for. So what you did, you take them from a poor condition to a better condition. So you see, that's supposed to explain what I'm trying to say to you. Better, poor soil, rich soil. So wherever you move your plants, it's supposed to go in better condition, and that's when they take off if you ain't damage their roots. All right? Hey, RG11 Live, good night, good night. How you doing? Thank you guys for coming through. All right, let me see. I'm going to put leash in my plan. Sometimes they don't want to listen. Oh, okay. All right. Well, you have the ability to make them listen, and you have the ability to train them. From that little seed you see they germinate, you have the ability to train them and make sure they do how you want them. And some people might say, what are you talking about? Well, yes, you can. So guys, you have to, let me go over this again, and I'm going to show, I hope I can show you guys this route on this, through this video, this camera. Now, I'm going to go over the rules. These are my rules. Okay? And you get great production. I get great production from it because, believe it or not, I used to grow food in containers. I did that for years as well. And I'm still doing it up to today. Okay? Now, make sure, rule one, number one, make sure the size of your container is big enough to house the root of the plant. Make sure it's deep enough. Make sure it's wide enough. This is very important. This is very important. Now, sometimes your soil, you might go buy the soil from the store. One of the best thing to do is mix it with dirt. It doesn't matter what kind of dirt, could be clay, whatever. Mix it in with it. My recommendation, this is my recommendation. 30% soil, 30% compost, 70% soil, and mix them together. Okay? If you could do that in the spring, in the fall or the winter, it's better. Okay? It's better. Next one. When you transplanting, try not to damage the root. I'm stressing on this because I know how important this is. When you transplanting, try not to damage not a strand of the root, especially that main root that you see pushed down to the bottom. Try not to damage that at all, because if you damage the root, you put in the plant at standstill. Now remember, I now tell you, the plant have a period, a time period of from the time you plant them into growing, into production. They have a time period. And if you're going to allow them to maintain that time period, you're going to get great production. So make sure you do not damage the root and you transplant them. Do not plant them to the top of the container. Plant them down in the container, maybe half the way. So while it's growing, you add more soil into the container. Okay? Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can show you guys. Let me see if, hold on. Okay. All right. What I'm holding in my hand here is an avocado seed. I'm hoping that you guys seeing this avocado seed. Avocado. If you notice on the avocado, you notice to the bottom, this is the main root of the avocado. This is the feeder. This is the first thing in every seed that germinate. The first thing comes out of that seed is this root, the main root. This is the feeder. This is the one who sorts for the signal. This is the one who sorts for the nutrient. This is the one who sorts for the mineral. This is the one who sorts for everything it's need. So whatever you have in this container, this is going to adjust itself and feed itself and try to keep itself alive. All right? While this is feeding the inner part, which is the plant itself, while this is feeding it, it's going to start developing more roots, which is smaller roots, which is right here. It's going to start to develop more roots. So if you're able to take this avocado seed and transplant it in a better condition, which is sunlight, which is mineral soil with nutrients, rich soil, this is going to take off. And I'm going to show you an avocado plant that in a month, how tall it gets. I'm going to show you in a minute, in 1 month. And it's indoor. It's not like it's outside. But what I want to see, wherever your seed germinate, I hope you guys seeing. Let me know if you guys seeing, please. Right? Okay. OG, live your life. I'm going to read your comment in a minute. All right? Watch. I hope you seeing. Wherever this seed germinate, the condition it's grow into, you got to put it in better condition, not worse. So now you cannot take this and put it in a room where there's no light, there's no water. No, it's not going to survive. But if you put it in a better condition, it's going to develop and grow and do what it got to do. So this is what Adnan was mentioning about the seed. This, don't ever damage this. Because if you damage this, it's like you put in the plant on hold. All right? If you damage this, you put in the plant on hold. Why you put in the plant on hold? Because no, this plant got to develop back this root. So the time it taken to develop back this root, the top part should have been up already and turning leaf. You see? If you damage the main root, the time it takes to develop back this main root and other root, this would have already gone up and torn leaf already. So you see what I'm talking about, guys? And the production, and the more care you give these plants, the better production you get from them. So this is very important. This is an avocado seed. Now, I'm going to transplant this avocado seed into a richer soil with better condition in a big container. So now this avocado seed plant will able to stay in that container for maybe about 3 years. So I'm going to put it in a big enough container. I'm not going to put it in a small container and then have to transplant it again. No, wherever I put this is where it's going to stay. And it makes sense to me because all that is not, when you transplant, when you keep transplanting it, you stop in the growth. It's because sometimes by trying to transplant them, what could happen? You could damage the root. By damaging the root, it got to stand still and develop back these roots before it focus on pushing up there. So I'm going to show you a plant now where in 1 month, where this plant has transformed itself. Give me a minute, guys. All right, guys, I hope you can see this. Oh, man, I hope you can see this. Now, this is my avocado tree. This germinate in this soil, in this container. It germinate in this container, and it just take off. Because the soil is beautiful soil. So, all right, thank you, thank you. So, it just take off. It's like almost 4 feet at this moment in 1 month. In 1 month, 4 feet. Now, when I'm transplanting this avocado now, you see, it's tall, but at the same time, you could see the richness in it. But at the same time, it's still lack of sunlight. It needs that sunlight. So with this plant, I got to take this plant in a better condition where it could get the full sun. This is what it lack of right now, sunlight. The soil is good, the nutrients is good, the mineral is good. It's balanced soil. The only thing is, it's lack of sunlight. Now, if I take this and transplant it in a room without light, without giving it water, what do you think gonna happen? It's gonna dry down. But if I take it outdoor in the sunlight, in better condition, this is what I keep saying. When you move in a plant, when you transplant in a plant, it must go in better condition. If it's in rich soil, you got to make sure you put it in soil almost the same or richer. It cannot be poor because you're reversing the process of the plant. So now, when I transplant this, I got to make sure it go where it could get sunlight, it go where it could get the right mineral, the nutrients that it needs, and this plant will fly. You see what I'm saying? I'm hoping you guys getting what I'm saying. You see, it's a tall, tall tree within a month, within a month. So now, with my care, and when the sunlight hit, in the spring, maybe in a month or two, when I take it out, it's going to take off and it's going to strengthen itself and its body going to start to get thick. What I might do, I might pinch off the top of it, that instead of it go up, it starts spreading. This, I'm going to put this in a garbage container. You know this big garbage container? That's where I'm going to put this into. So wherever I put this, that's where it stays. Okay? So yes. Hey, yeah, best life. Good night. How you doing? Thank you for being here. How you guys doing? Well, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Thank you to all the members of the channel. I truly appreciate you guys for your support. I truly appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much. Shout out to all my members of this channel. Thank you guys. Thanks for your support. I appreciate you all. All right. Also, thank you for the moderators. Truly appreciate you guys. You guys doing a wonderful job. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to all the subscribers, all the viewers. Thanks everybody for your support. Thank you all for coming out on a Tuesday, on a Thursday, sorry. Thank you all to come out on a Thursday night just to be here with me and we have conversation. I appreciate you guys. All right, so I have 2 more members up in here, 3 members. Shout out to Yaya Best Live. Shout out to OG Living Live. Shout out to Fifi Johnny. Shout out to all the members. If I mention your name, I still appreciate all of you guys. All right. Thank you guys. All right. Okay. Thank you for sharing your night. You're welcome, OG Living Life. You're welcome. Appreciate it. Hello, Denise Harris. How you doing? Thank you for being here. How you doing? Thank you. All right, let me go and see what OG Living Life was saying. Let me see. I think I'm OG Living Life. I think I'm just going to plant a bigger pot to begin with. That's it right there. That's the key word right there. That's the key word right there. A bigger pot to begin with. It does not make sense trying to put them in a small pot, then trying to take them out the small pot to put them in a bigger pot. Just if you have the pot and if you able to get one, it's best you just put them in the right size and just done with it. Because the more they grow, you will have to keep removing them. So just put them in the right size and just done with it. So that's good. Yes. That way, there's less chance of me running the root while ruining the root. Exactly. Because that do happen. Many times, we try to transplant and we damage root. So be careful when you're trying to transplant. Very important. Many times we try transplant and we damage roots. When we damage roots, we stop the growth of the plant. The plant got to develop back that root to start growing again. So you backing the plant from growing. So be very mindful of that. Yes, be very mindful of that. So yes, guys, like I now mentioned to you all, and I basically show you guys a demonstration of seed. All seed germinate, and the first thing comes out is their root. Did a bunch of seeds start today? Bunch of seeds start today. Now I ain't got you, Dennis. All right. The seed always push down the root, this root force. So once this root go down, this root is where go down and feeding, searching for water, searching for nutrients, searching for minerals, searching for whatever you have down there. And what happened is this root is feeding from what you have down here. Okay? Now, if you could train this plant from a baby, okay, you have the ability to start train the seed from a baby. You have that. You have the ability to train the seed from a baby. So now if you have the seed in poor condition, the seedling in poor condition, not too much water, the soil is poor. When you transplant it, make sure, like I keep saying, make sure whatever condition you put it into is better condition than where you take it from. Guys, this is key information I'm giving you here. This is from experience. This ain't just go and Google and take information. This is actually experience I'm talking about. Okay? All right. I think she meant she started a lot of different seeds. Okay. That's wonderful. All right. All right. I like the song of that. I like the song of that. Okay. I did a bunch of seeds start today. Okay. I got you now. Yes. All right. That's wonderful. Wow. Love the song of that. Love the song of that. Okay, so let's talk a little now about, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. All right? Don't forget to hit that like button. I'll truly appreciate it. All right? This is what I'm doing all garden season this year. What I'm doing is just gardening. That's all I'm talking about every Thursday. Gardening. So if you want to know about gardening, you want to learn some skills from me, and maybe you could apply them, you could tune in here on a Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're also able to learn from the chat as well, because the chat always busy where we all sharing information. So please tune in. You would not regret it. It's all about the information. All right? So, and next thing again. So now we start about the size containers. We start about the soil. We talk about planting. Now we're going to talk about wetting. And all these videos, I have all these type of videos on my channel. Everything I'm talking about, I can pull a video and basically show you. Okay? That how I do it and it works. All right? Now, when we watering plants, number one, not every plant love you to constantly watering them. Constantly watering them. Not every plant like that. Some plants only love you to sprinkle them that their root could get wet and they could suck that water and they're good. Once they're good. All right? Some plants love their roots to actually be in water. They love that. They enjoy that better. Okay? So now you got to study from your experience. I'm putting you guys to the test in your own garden. Study from your experience now. Which plant in your garden love water and which plant don't? This is your job this garden season. Study which plant love water, which plant don't. Right? Now, when you're watering plants in container, you got to be very careful how you water these plants. The reason why you got to be careful is because you might show too much. Some people like to put their hose in the container and let the hose just run in the container. Well, guess what? Sometimes you could be washing out nutrients out the soil. You could be washing out minerals out your soil. All these type of things you could be doing by just pouring. So sometimes you could just sprinkle. You know, you sprinkle, and you know, while you're sprinkling, it's gonna go down. You sprinkle it, gonna go down. So at the same time, it's soaking the soil, right? So you're not watering it too much. Because could you imagine every day you get up with a hose and you watering down your plant? Could you imagine what happening there? Yeah, the plant love water, but you actually washing out the soil at the same time. Remember, you're in a container. You're not in ground. You in container. So the more water you add, like you understand, you actually washing out the minerals, the nutrients. I'm gonna draw a reference for you here. This is a reference I'm drawing here. Now, if you're making juice, right? You want your juice to taste sweet and nice and flavor, right? The more, right? You already put your sugar. Now you add in your water. You add in your water now. The more water you add, what happening? The sugar start is like it ain't having no sugar inside of it. You see what I'm saying? The more water you add, it's like the sweetness is just going away. It's just a demonstration. The more water you add, the sweetness start going away. Okay? It's something like that. The more water you add, it wash this. In this case, it's washing out the nutrients and the minerals. Dilution, yes, exactly. The more water you add in the container, it's washing out nutrients. So what you do, sprinkle it and let the water take its time, go down, and sprinkle it. So while the water going down, the roots them feeding from the water. That's what you want. But just letting go your hose in your container, then you're gonna end up, what's gonna happen? Your soil gonna become very weak. And that's gonna be a problem for your plant, because remember, your plants need mineral, your plants need nutrient. If you wash that out the container, then what's gonna happen? So this is very important for container gardener. And next reason why you want your container to be big, because roots spread, and in the heat of the summer, the heat coming from the side of the container, the heat coming to the top, and it also coming from the bottom. Could you imagine the root of that container push itself and jam to that surface of that container? Could you imagine with that type of heat we just get? And most of the container is plastic. With that draws heat, could you imagine? That could damage the tip of your root, the outer part of your root. That's another form of keeping back your root, your plant. So with these steps, believe it, these steps, your plants could strive, beautiful, healthy. Honestly, I give you some real key information tonight about container garden. And like I said, it doesn't matter where you gardening. It doesn't matter if your garden season is short. Well, if it's short, it's even better, because at the end of the day, you don't want to back the growth of your plant. So even in a short up area where the zone, where your short zone, that's when you don't want to mess with your root of your plant. That's when you want your plant to grow fast that it could develop. Again, every plant has its time frame where it's supposed to from plant straight. Why you think sometimes they tell you 45 days on the seed pack? Why you think they give you a day sometime? Or this supposed to take 45 days, or this supposed to take 80 days. It have a time frame. You now cannot back it because you want to make it a delay on its time. And delaying it is not the right thing. So the more you give these plants what they want, the more they give you what you want. Okay? Hey, Psalms 146, how you doing? Thank you for being here. What's going on? Okay, let me see. Real thing to think about. Thank you, Planter Garden. All right, all right. Yes, yes. Think about it and try. If you try it, if you feel, if you want to, try it. You would not regret it. I'm telling you right now, you won't regret it. Okay, try a few plants, plant the way you used to, and try a few plants the way I tell you tonight. And I guarantee you, man, you're gonna see you will see something. You definitely will see something. Yes. So yes, guys, gardening season is popping, man, and we got to get busy out here, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I'm thinking I have a video that you know what maybe I should post a link and let you guys go check it out. Yes, I have a video about planting. I was planting some broccoli. Yes, I was planting some broccoli. I posted a couple days ago. I was planting some broccoli. I was basically showing you how to plant them, and I also was showing you the roots. Let me tell you, the way I set seedlings, I set my seedling them very thick in a line. I don't set them in a cup and put them in cups. I set them in a thick line. No, you got to be, listen to me, you got to be very careful when you set seed like that, because you cannot damage the root. You don't want to damage the root. But if you know, in that video, you will see me planting them, and I'm showing you the root fully intact. The root is fully intact. You see, when you plant and your root is fully intact and the soil is beautiful, that's it. It takes off. But if you damage the root, they take time to develop back their roots before they start walking to push the plant up. You understand? Because you got to understand, under that soil, there's a root system that very intelligent. Okay? That root system is very intelligent, is really smart. They're very smart. Everyone know their job. Okay, so please make sure you don't damage your roots. Don't damage those roots, especially that main one, the first one that push out. Don't damage that at all. Hey, hello, the everyday life of an see this check. How you doing? Thank you for being here. What's going on, guys? Good to see you guys, man. Garden season. Glad to see you guys. Thank you guys for stopping by. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. All right. This is garden season, and we will be talking about gardening this whole garden season, right down until maybe July. And in July, we go back to open discussion where we talk about different topic. But right now, we only talking about gardening. I want to see everybody with a beautiful, successful garden this year. And if anyone new in the chat tonight, we have a herb garden challenge going on. The rules of the herb garden challenge is on my community page. It starts on the 1st of March 2024 and it ends on the 25th of June. And on June, that's when the 30th of June, that's when we're going to have prize winners. Okay. So if you're interested, if you're new in the chat, you press 1. And then you could also go and check out the community page where we have all the rules. If it's something you could work with, you are welcome to join. Also, I also create a Facebook page group. So people from Facebook could also join in. So it's not a chance of game. This year we're trying to expand. We're trying to get more viewers into this thing. Guys, like I keep saying, share, mention this herb garden challenge. We're trying to get as much people as possible. Even people who not growing up, who don't have a YouTube channel. If we could inspire them, that'd be good. At least they might come and watch our videos, watch you guys' videos, and watch your journey. Maybe somebody might like what you're doing. Somebody might just subscribe to your channel just like that. So it's benefit. So if anyone interested, you don't have to post over there. You could post under hashtag Planter HGC 2024. That's where you post on. But if you like, you could also post in that group. You got to join the group and post your video in that group. So the members are whoever able to know that there's a herb garden challenge going on Facebook, and that could draw viewers to this thing as well. All right, thank you, Fifi Urban. That's the hashtag on the screen. That's where you put your videos. If you're interested in putting a video on Facebook as well, the name of the group is Planter Herb Garden Challenge. I'm going to be mentioning more. That's only if you're interested in putting it over there. But you could focus right here. All right? And Planter Herb Garden, Planter 8GC 2024. All right? So you don't have to do it over there. But here is fine. So yes, we're trying to take it to another level. We're trying to encourage as much people as possible. We're trying to get more people into the garden as well. Get more people growing some herbs. The more herbs we grow, the more we educate ourselves about herbs, we might be able to live longer, more healthier. All right? All right. Okay, guys, this is a Facebook group. If you're interested, you join the group, and you also could upload your video in that group. All right? So you're able to get views from over there, people coming from over there to see your videos, or they could watch it on Facebook, whatever they choose. But at the end of the day, you open into more people. You see what I'm saying? So this thing holds a lot of benefit. All right? Ain't no loss in this thing. You will benefit whether you win the prize or not. This is a way of drawing more people to the Herb Garden Challenge, more viewers able to watch you guys hard work from starting from seed into harvest. Yes. So think about it. You don't have to. You could keep it at planter HGC, but that's an option for if you choose to. But people from Facebook also can join in from over there. Okay, Audrey join. All right, all right, all right. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate that, guys. Hey, Mike, how you doing? What's going on, man? Thank you, guys, man. Thank you, guys, for being here. Appreciate you guys. Yes. So as we keep saying, man, so we're gonna talk more about container garden, but I want you guys to give me a minute. I'm gonna put on the music for a couple seconds. Please don't go nowhere, guys. We have real information coming. So let me just play the music for a second and give me 1 second, guys. All right. Okay. But it's hey, all right, all right. What's up, guys? What's up, man? Yes, guys. So I mean, I line out a lot of information tonight. All right, Denise Harris, thank you for coming through. Appreciate you. All right, good night. Yes, guys. This is garden season. Believe it or not, it's already begin. So don't believe because we in February it didn't begin. To me, garden season never stopped because I was actually growing, planting since last no October, November. I've been planting, putting food in the ground. But for you guys, since you guys here, I'm gonna show you a little. Let me just show you a little video, not for long. Let me just show you a small. This video gonna help. No, this is no. I can't show this video because this is container garden. So I can't show this video because we basically focusing on container garden today. But this was basically, I'm gonna show it to you just the beginning. Why? Because I want to show you the root. Let me show you the root of planting and how important it is to make sure that okay. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. Where is it? You know, let me just show the shot because. Okay, I'm here. Okay, I'm not getting the video, but it's a video. Is one my last video that I post. You guys could check out that video. That video will give you an idea of when I say don't damage the root of the plant. You know what? Hold on. Let me put it in the chat. Hold on. This, when I say don't damage the root, this is basically what I'm talking about. This is very important. So, okay, I'm going to put the video in the chat. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. Okay, the video is in the chat. This video will give you an idea of planting, of how I plant. And this is basically how I plant cabbage and stuff. If you look over my shoulder, you're going to see how my cabbage and them look healthy. So this is the key for a healthy looking plant. Plus, growing it well, not using chemical, also produce these kind of product. Okay. Hello, TIGSY tape enjoying. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. What's going on? All right. Yes. So, okay, guys, we talk about container garden, right? I give a lot of information about container garden tonight. This is basic information. So for anyone who now start gardening, especially for the people who now start gardening, or who gardening, because sometimes there's always new skills that you could learn. All right? Not telling you to stop plan how you planting, but there's always something you can learn. Tonight, I basically give the basic. I give a lot of information on gardening tonight, container garden. A lot of information about container garden. So if you guys now come, you could all replay. You could watch the replay from the beginning of the video, come right down. All I'm giving is information about container garden. This is basic information to actually get someone. Let me see. At Planter, let me see. Hold on. At Planter, I watch your videos and I've learned a lot from you. Big thank you to you. Oh, wow. Awesome. This is what, oh, wow. Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate it, because at the end of the day, all I'm trying to do is to help people to, especially new gardeners, to get better. All right, from my experience, I'm trying to get them to get there from actually going through the whole process. I'm giving them the shortcut. You know what I'm saying? So thank you. Able to give you that, the information on these videos, and wow, big thanks to you. Wow. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. Good night. All right. Good to hear that. Good to hear that. Thank you. I'm getting fuzzy. Okay. So yes, guys. So we talk about container. I'm gonna talk a little about in-ground gardening for a minute. Raised bed. Just a little. All right. So let's get into all right, all right. Let's get into in-ground gardening for a minute here, guys. Let's step into in-ground gardening for a minute. In-ground, raised bed, wherever. When you're dealing with in-ground gardening, guys, let me make this clear. I'm an organic, I grow, I follow nature. And this is how I grow my garden. I follow nature. I watch how nature operate, and that's what I follow. Okay, so I don't even want to, I can't use the word organic anymore. Why? I can't use the word organic because I personally, the way I grow my stuff, I gotta say natural, or I gotta say the way nature want me to. Because, who create organic? Who say organic? I don't know what was put together consider as organic. So I'm going to put my thing as natural. The way nature want me to, or the way nature want it to be. Natural. Okay, so this is how I grow my stuff. Natural. Right, so when we're dealing with raised bed, it doesn't matter what type of soil you have. You have poor soil, and many times we underestimate our soil. Yeah, don't make nobody fool you, guys. Don't make nobody fool you. Many times we underestimate our soil in our backyard, right? We believe that our soil in our backyard is poor. How you know it poor? You know why? Because you believe, because of what you see and what you hear, automatically it hit you. My soil is poor. I need to get this. I need to get that to get my soil rich. Right? Number one, sometimes, whether you are clay soil or not, number one, clay soil is full of minerals. Okay? Clay soil is a rich soil. So you might have this soil and you look at it and you feel like this soil is poor. You never even plant anything there. But automatically you consider it poor because of what you hear and what you see and what they say. No, you now got to start becoming your own scientist in your backyard, in your garden. You now got to start doing your testing. How do you test your soil for the first year? You start planting. If you plow, whatever you're doing, you digging it up, you plowing it, then you plant. From your first crop, this is where you're going to see what is going on with your soil. Because this is what we're doing it natural, right? We ain't trying to add no sort of whatever to this soil. So what I'm talking here about is natural soil. We're trying to build natural soil here. So stay with me here. So now, the first thing you need to do is dig your soil, plant your food, watch the production of your first year, the crop of your first year. See what happened. See the production. See the strength of the plant. See the fruits, the size, the strength of the fruit. See the smell, the taste of the fruit or the vegetables. That's where you start. According to what you see, you might understand that I need to add something to my soil because my soil ain't that rich and it ain't doing that well. No, what we're gonna do? All the weeds we pull out of our garden that first year, all the weed we pull out, what we doing? We either put them in a heap somewhere, put them in a pile. What we doing? We're gonna build our compost pile now. So all these weed, you take out your garden, you put them in an area and allow them to break down. So they're gonna go through all through the winter, all through the fall, all through the winter. And they're actually gonna start breaking down. In the fall, if you have access to leaf falling on the ground, you start raking them up. Right? You start raking them up. All of the weed you store during the spring, during the summer, you could take them and dump them in your raised bed and just leave them there. Let it go through the winter. No, what you can do now, you start turning them together. You mixing them in. I mean, I could go and find video to show you this video, but it might take me too long to find the video. But them is a couple of years ago video. But you mixing it in with the soil, right? After you mix it in, all them leaf and them weeds you pull up, you mix it in with the soil and you leave it there. And then what you do now, you take some soil and you put on top of it and just cover it and leave it right there for the spring. Remember, this is natural garden we're talking about, right? When the spring comes and you're getting ready to plant, while you're digging, you might see a few pieces of leaf. Don't worry about that. Still dig your hole, still dig your hole. Continue digging your hole. After you don't dig and plant, you understand? Planting they come, you plant up your garden. All that you add, all the leaf you add, all of the weeds you pull out your garden you add, gonna transform your soil into the next spring. By the next spring, your soil gonna be different. It's gonna be completely different. Because now what you add nutrients, all these things gonna be adding nutrients and mineral to your soil. This is what your soil needs. Then it's gonna start to attract earthworms and bacteria, the right bacteria you need in your garden. It's gonna start attract them. This is where now you're gonna be getting the breaking down, the worms, all different type of bacteria. It's gonna attract. This is how you change your soil, guys. And you keep doing this. This is what I now tell you every year. You add more soil, you add more leaf, you add more weeds you put out the garden, and you add a layer of soil over it. Because every time you add anything, you're supposed to add some soil as well. And you keep mixing it. The thing about it is you got to keep turning your soil. You got to keep walking your soil, walking your soil. So while you walk in it, and the earthworms and them walk in it as well. The earthworms them create tunnels in our soil that create airflow and all this type of stuff in our soil. So if you, this is a natural method I'm giving you here. Natural, I'm not even calling it, I'm saying natural. Let me give you why. I grew up. We used to use chicken poop, we used to use, but them time, the cow them, they was grass fed. So it wasn't you feeding them with anything. They was actually grass fed. The goat them, grass fed. You understand? But this is what I grew up using. But now, I don't use any of that. So the way I learn to make compost or what to add on around your plant, I don't even use that no more. What I did, I went through the forest, the bushes. And when I went through the bushes, that's where I observed. I was looking around. I'm looking at the big trees. I'm looking at the small trees. I'm looking on the ground. And I'm just observing everything. Once I start observing, everything just start coming to me like a puzzle. Everything just start coming to me like a puzzle just fitted itself together. Right? What I've learned that day, I've learned that in the forest, in the bushes, the plants feed themselves. That's what I've learned. The plants feed themselves. How the plant feed themselves? When they drop the leaf, when they drop a limb, a tree might fall down. That tree just decay itself and turn into compost, turn into food for these plants. You never saw no one going in with a bucket of water. You never saw no one going with fertilizer train around their root. You never saw that. But everything, they survive. And look how tall these trees will grow. Look how massive these trees will become. Without we using all these things that are available today. When I see that, it made me realize I'm on a path. I'm on a path here where no one could convince me that I could go and buy a product from the store today to put around my plant. No one. And I apply the same method that I saw in the bush, in between the trees. I apply the same method, and it works like a charm. It works like a charm. I can grow a garden. I can grow an acre of food without spending a dime. I can grow an acre, more than an acre, without spending $1. So when you get to understand these things, man, when you get to understand these things and apply them, you're gonna love it. Why you gonna love it? Because everything grows so beautiful. I mean, look over my shoulder there, guys. Look over my shoulder there. Do you see? There is cabbage. Do you see how healthy these things looking? This cabbage and kale. I apply the same method that inside between the trees. They feed themselves. So what we got to understand, trees roots run deep. Trees root run deep. And these trees able to search and find nutrients and minerals because they spread out their roots. So they find on all the nutrients and all the minerals down there. That's the one. And the roots suck it and bring it up into the plant, which nature knows best. Surely right with that, Daddies. Harris. You surely right with that. Nature knows best. Yes, the trees push their roots so deep and spread them that they're draining, they're pulling up nutrients, they're pulling up everything. And when they pull up everything, all that goes up into the body of the tree, into the leaf of the tree. It feeds the whole tree. So when these same leaf fall off, when this same leaf falls on the ground, decay, turn into compost, it feeding back the plant with the mineral, the nutrient, it feeding it back. So these plants survive of themselves. If you apply that in your garden, it could work. Now it could work, it works. If you're able to apply that in your garden, it works. You'll be seeing some healthy plants you wouldn't even believe. You understand? You want to know. You know, some of these, when you look at the plant, it's like, you know, like it just look refreshing, man. It just look refreshing. Guys, the computer man tonight, I cannot run them videos, but I want to show you guys some videos tonight. Okay? But you can always check out my channel. I have over 1,500 videos, and it's so much you can learn. Shout out to Ty. I don't know if I pronounce your name, but tap in, enjoy. Shout out to you because I appreciate I was able to put videos out there and you could actually learn from them. And the thing about it is you learn by applying and trying. Because as a gardener, you got to try different things until things start working the way you want it to work. You try different things. And once you find what you're looking for, you just feed, you just continue. But these plants could survive pretty well from leaf, the weeds out of your garden, the body of the trees that decay. These plants thrive pretty well from them. This is how nature operates. They feed themselves. Sometimes you see a big tree tumble down. You can't even put your hand around the tree. Twice, you know, massive. tumble down, fall down in the and just steady, and it just start decaying. It just start breaking down. When you look up inside it, you start to see worm. You start to see all kind of bacteria up inside there, just breaking it down, breaking it down. Then when you look, it just break down underground, flat underground. You guys ever see a tree, a big tree that you could never put your arm around, break down to the ground like nothing there? Well, I see that before. And it's a good sight to see. It's a beautiful sight to see. And then when you scrape up that compost, I call it black gold. I call that black gold. It's so darkens. And when you put that around your plants, then listen to me, your plants them fly. So don't underestimate your backyard soil, and don't underestimate what leaves and the weeds from in your garden and the tree trunk. Don't underestimate what that can do to your garden. Believe it or not. Agriculture was the best thing I did for my raising. All right. So I know. So basically, Dennis Harris, what you did, you pack wood under the bottom, right? Which is one of great, listen to me. Packing wood under your raised bed is wonderful. It's wonderful because when it breaks down, man, when it breaks down and you mix that in with your soil, man, listen to me. It's wonderful, guys. Man, let me see, man. Let me see if I could. Give me a minute, guys. Let me see if I could pull up one of these videos, man. In a second. Let me see if I can pull one of these videos. I don't know why I'm not. All right, give me a second, guys. Let me see. I don't know how it's showing me. Let's see. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna show you this video. Internet buffering. I know the internet is really slow tonight, so Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me see if I can put up this video. This is a video I'm showing, I'm planting. This could give you an idea of planting. This is a new video I now push up. I'm gonna show it to you guys. With me, guys, because I want to show you how I'm planting these and how important it is to plant the way I plant. All right. So this is one of my favorite tools. This is one of my favorite tools. If you notice, you know, these holes already prepared. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna soften the bottom of the holes there. Okay? The holes already dig, so I'm just gonna soften the bottom. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. This, you don't want to damage these roots. You want to make sure these roots are perfect when you plant them. So you see the soil is... Okay, guys, you see what I'm talking about? What I'm talking about there, which is so important. You see how deep I'm planting them? Check the depth. And if you notice, you're gonna be seeing leaf, you're gonna be seeing pine needle, you're seeing all that around there. But it did not stop me from planting. No, the root, you cannot damage the root, guys. Don't damage the root at all. Okay, let's go on. Soft, so I just put it and I put it down inside and I pull it together and I bring it right under the bottom leaf. You see how perfect that look in there? That's how we do it, guys. So when we plant them this deep, what happens is the root gonna be under the ground, drying all the nutrients, all the minerals out of the soil, from the bottom of the soil. So you have to be very careful, guys. You see, the root is perfect. Perfect root. You come, the hole already soft, you put it down inside there and you pull the soil around it and you leave it there standing up perfect. Okay. This is the next hole. You come, you soften up the hole. You make sure the hole is soft. Make sure it's soft. Then you take a next one. Root is perfect. You put it down inside here. And perfect. Same thing over here. You do the same thing. You soften the holes then. You get the seedlings. If you know you wouldn't be taking care of your plants, please do not plant them this young. Allow them to get bigger, all right? Because when you plant them in this kind of stage, you got to take care of them more. They require more care. Okay, so we come here again, we do the same thing. We soften the bottom. The hole already prepared, the soil is beautiful. So all we're doing, we're just softening up the root a little. Okay, and we put it down inside here and we bury it and we just pull it around and leave it there looking perfect. Same thing with this one. We soften the root. We take them and we put them down in there. Perfect. Okay, guys, so basically, this is what I'm doing. I have a lot more here to plant, which I have some holes right down here. If you notice, I have some holes here that I'm going to plant. Basically. Okay, guys, you see what I'm saying, guys? Check my holes them and you're gonna look the depth of my hole. Look the depth of my holes them, right? And look how small these plants are. Don't do this at home. Please don't do this at home, all right? If you know you're not going to be able to take care of your plants, do not plant them this young. Do not plant them this small. Because if you plant them this small, you got to go outside, you got to soften up the root, you got to make sure no leaf fall on them, you got to make sure all of that. The reason why I plant them this young is because I get a connection from them. The connection is amazing because I start them from seed. I grow them from seed, transplant them as young baby, and able to take care of them. So now I get that love for them, that connection for them, because now I got to go out every day and make sure these plants is good. I got to make sure there's no leaf covering them. I got to make sure no soil roll down on them and covering them. I got to make sure all of that. So it's a lot of work I have to do to keep them alive. But guess what? The good thing about it, when I plant them now, which is February, when I plant them now, when the fall, the frost come in March, April, these plants gonna already develop roots. So their roots gonna be strong by that time. So when the frost pass, even if scratch their leaf, they're still gonna survive. So this is for people who live in zone that's not freezing the soil. This is not for people. I would not recommend anyone who live in where the soil freeze up to plant their plants in this month. Yes, you could start a chance with brassica, which is that I'm doing. I'm planting brassica. I'm planting, basically what I'm planting now is broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and spinach. These type of plants could stand cold weather. So this is why I'm planting them right now. But if you're in zone where the soil freeze up, I don't think you should plant now. Or you could try a few of your plants and see how it works. But no, this is how I plant my plants them. Very small. It doesn't matter what kind of plant. Pepper, same thing. Cabbage, same thing. Okra, same thing. I plant everything small. Why? Because the connection, the love, make me want to go out and care for my plants. You think about them like a baby. You think about them like them. I wonder if any leaf fall on them. I wonder if a soil roll on them. You know, it's a lot of work, guys. So I don't want to put you into doing all that type of work, but that's what I do. And this is why I always get production. It doesn't matter what I plant, I'm able to get bountiful harvest from them. Okay, because of my soil. This soil used to be red clay. It's hard to recognize that this soil was actually red clay. Okay? Guys, don't forget to hit that like button, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button. I have shared a lot of information tonight. I'm showing the love because I truly want you guys to have a productive garden. And don't forget again, guys, Planter Herb Garden Challenge is coming. If you didn't make us know as yet, if you didn't make up your mind as yet, you still have time. If you thinking about it, you still have time. If you make up your mind now, please press 1. Or you could always email me. Everyone, welcome. to join. Just the rules on the community page. Please stay tuned. Check my community page and get the rules and see if that's something you really interested in and doing. It's a herb garden challenge. You got to grow 10 different herbs. It's a journey that's a very interesting journey. This is our second year, and we want to continue this for as long as we can. So we just wish everyone a happy garden season this year. I just hope that more people could understand what is going on today and look into it. All our skills, you know, we need our skills. If we didn't have certain skills, we need to start learning. We need to apply some of these skills. I mean, skills that can feed you and your family. Why wouldn't you try to learn about them? Why wouldn't you try to see how much you could learn in time like this? Because at the end of the day, guys, your family have to eat. Your family need a roof, not just a roof over their head. They need food as well. Encourage anyone you can on this journey, guys. This is a herb garden challenge that you would not regret. You will look back 5 years, 10 years from now and say, wow, what a journey. All right. So let's watch a little more of this video. And I'm going and plant over here. This is 2024 spring garden. I'm going to be planting out this whole area. This whole area with brassica. This whole area. I also want to plant this bed here with brassica. I also want to plant this bed here with brassica. So basically this whole area here gonna be with brassica. All right. The good thing with brassica, most of them like the broccoli, the cabbage, as soon as they harvest, you could plant something right back in the area. So a short crop. So now, after you, okay, the good thing with brassica, some of them you can leave in the ground, like the collards, like the kale, but you're going to be harvesting the cabbage, the cauliflower. You're going to be harvesting them. After you harvest them, what you do, you replant. No, you're going for short crop now. You're going for, them time you could plant pepper. Them time you could plant squash. Them time you could plant, you know what I'm saying? But this is the time for brassica. Well, for me, this is the time for brassica. This is the time. So as soon as the weather starts changing, I'll be getting ready to harvest all these brassica and getting ready to start my garden, which my garden is already prepared. I have more work to do, but the soil is ready. I was working on the soil since last fall. As soon as the last frost came, I started working on my soil already. So now my soil is basically ready for planting. If you notice in the video, I know I was showing there, even in the hole, in the raised bed, you still seeing leaf. You still seeing pine straw. You still seeing grass, weed. I'm not worried about that because that's gonna break down over a period of time. While it breaking down, it adding nutrient to the soil, This is what the plants them gonna be getting. This is how you get healthy, beautiful looking plants that produce in abundance. I will always recommend you have to take care of your plants then. From baby stage, you got to take care of them from the time the seed germinate. You got to take care of them all through until harvest time. Okay? There's a point in time. There's a point in time when you allow your plant to do their thing. There's a time when you got to allow your plant to do a thing. This time is these plants produce a green color. The green color will catch any eyes. From the time you see that green, that beautiful green, you already know, oh my goodness, these plants going. So what you do, you give these plants a break and let them do their thing. Because sometimes ain't much you can do. There's a certain time when you got to allow these plants to do their thing. Because ain't much you could do again. And you focus on your younger plant. You allow them, give them the break, let them do the thing, and you start focusing on your younger plant. So at the end of the day, you tend into your whole garden, not just one set of plants. You tend into your whole garden. Certain plants really don't need much care. Certain plants will strive without much care. The thing about it is, you see, the thing is, this is why you got to know these plants. And you got to know the level of care they need. You know, this is why it's important to give that care while they're young. So while they're young and you give them that care and they get to that stage where they're actually striving for the self now, that gives you the time to move on to different plants. You see what I'm saying? So while you're doing on different plants, then you wanna come back to them. So you gotta know how to do your garden. You gotta know the care that they need. You gotta know which plant need extra care. You gotta know which plant you really don't need. You really ain't gotta do much. Which most of the plant I'm planting right now, once you get them growing, ain't much you need to do. Certain plants, they love their roots soft. Certain plants love a lot of soil around them. A lot of soil around them. These are things you got to know. And this is how we get the maximum yield from our plant. We ain't got to throw nothing around our plant to get maximum yield. We ain't got to spray nothing on our plant for get maximum yield. We know the skill, the technique to get them there. So all I'm doing, guys, I'm just sharing my experience. Everything I say, I can back it. Everything I say, I can back it. Because all these things is what I do already. Container garden, growing food in sand, you know, sand like the beach. All that I did already. So I know a lot about gardening. So I'm willing to share. But at the same time, I'm not telling you to give up the way you grow your food and take my way. That's not what I'm doing. I'm showing you, so maybe you could apply. You could apply some of the time. You see what I'm saying? You could apply something, and maybe who knows, maybe it might work for you. Maybe it won't. You know what I'm saying? But the only how it won't is if you just plant them and leave them. These things, the more care you give them, the more love you put into them, the more they give back to you. All right? So it was a thank you guys for coming out tonight. Truly appreciate you guys, man. It's a pleasure to have you guys come out and we could have this conversation. I can share the information with you guys. I also love to share the results as well. The video I now show you about planting the broccoli, I will be giving update on that. I have cabbage. I already planted some cabbage. I will be giving update on that. But I guarantee you today that these same plants gonna be looking like them right over my shoulder there. That's how they will be looking. Why? And I could say that. You see, this is the thing. Talk with confidence because you know what you're capable of doing. You know the method and how it works. So now I can tell you that this is how my cabbage them gonna look this garden season. And I'm gonna tell you again, I grew pepper tree. This year was 8 feet tall. And I'm gonna tell you here tonight again that I will be growing peppers 8 feet tall again this year. You see, because when you know, and when you understand certain things, you could speak like that. Okay? 2 years ago, I mentioned I'm going to be growing pepper tree over my head. What I did, I grew pepper tree 7 feet, 4 inches tall. 7 feet up there, 4 inches tall. This year I said the same thing. Last year I said the same thing. I grew 8 foot, pepper tree 8 foot tall. This year I'm growing pepper tree 8 foot tall again. When you know what you're doing, when you know your soil that you have, when you know what you're capable of, then you could predict stuff like this. And this is what I'm doing because I already put in the work in the soil, and this is the important part. Putting in the soil in the water, then the techniques, things you got to do, how you got to plant them, when there's certain time, you got to go and walk around your plants. All these things, you got to know. You see what I'm saying? And once you know these things, man, your garden will be striving. You can't believe the beauty, the healthiness, the production, the taste, everything just combined beautiful. So this is what I'm trying to encourage people to do. Like I keep saying, guys, I'm not here to tell you grow food, stop growing food the way you grow your food. That's not what I'm doing. I'm here to tell you things that actually works as well. Try and see. I guarantee you today, if you try and you follow the instruction I give you, it doesn't matter where you're growing. It doesn't matter where. And you follow the instruction, I guarantee you, you're gonna see production. Okay? On this channel, I have over maybe about 1,600 videos by now. And every one of them have information about gardening. Every last one. Anyone you turn to, you can learn something from. Any one of them you can learn something from. It have from the soil. It have from sowing seed. How to take care of your seedlings. How to take care, how to plant, when to manure, when to put compost around them. The whole process of gardening. Okay? So you guys could tune in. I upload video very often. So you guys could always tune in. Don't forget, guys, hit that notification bell that you can get notified when I post a video. You can also get notified when I go live. I go live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I also pop in from time to time. But now I'm doing the Herb Garden Challenge. I actually go live more often because I'm trying to promote the Herb Garden Challenge. I'm asking you guys as well, especially the people who participate in, you can share the rules. You can mention it. If you feel like you could put it on your community page, let more people know that we actually have a Herb Garden Challenge going on. I will truly appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks each and everyone for all your support. And don't forget, guys, the membership open. You can also join the membership for this channel. I will truly appreciate it. I will be doing a few classes this year for members of this channel because I want to show my appreciation. You guys are very dedicated, so I appreciate each and every one of you. So let's gardening, let's do gardening, and let's get the Herb Garden Challenge popping, and let's go. All right. All right. Thanks again, Planter. We appreciate you. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome, guys. Thank you. So I want to thank everybody who comes out tonight. As always, this is garden season, and we only going to be talking about gardening right through till about July around there. Every Thursday, we're going to come here. We're going to talk about gardening. When gardening season begin, when people start planting, we're going to be doing a lot of Q&A, question and answers. Yes. All right, Mike. Thank you, man. Thank you for coming through. Yes, we're going to be doing a lot of question and answers this year. So tune in, guys. And don't forget to hit that like button. Appreciate each and every one of you. All right. Good night, Dennis Harris. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate you. Good night, Mike. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate you. Good night, Fifi Johnny. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate you. Thank you, OG Living Life. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate you. Thank you, Sissy Texas Garden. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate you. Thank you, Psalms 146. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate you. Thank you, Ty. Ty GSY. I know how you pronounce that, but tap in, enjoying it. I appreciate you. Thank you. OG Living Life. Appreciate you. Thank you, Patty Kitchen and Garden and more. Appreciate you. Thank you, Nikki. Appreciate you. Oh, thanks everybody, man, for coming through tonight, man. Tonight was a very informative live. Lots of information. This is a live. you can definitely go back to. Is so much information I've dropped in this live tonight. So much information. I know there's a lot of yes, good night, Fifi Urban. Thank you, Homestead. Good night. I know container gardeners. I know there's a lot of container gardeners. And I really want to reach out to the container gardeners now because I've teach so much about in-ground gardening, how to do your soil. Now I'm going to be focusing on container garden. So I'm trying to reach people now, give that I could help them, give them information, but choosing the right size container, right up to the soil, right up to planting, right up to harvesting, because I want everybody to be successful. All right? Thank you all so much. This was very informative. All right, thank you, thank you. Don't forget to always, every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, tune in here. It's all about gardening. All right? So thank you. You have a wonderful night. Wow. Thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate you guys. Wow. All right, guys. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you for the 20 likes, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. So you guys have a blessed and wonderful night. All right? I'm sure I'm going to see you guys before the weekend because I'm promoting the Plant a Herb Garden Challenge to the fullest because this is counting down time. Don't forget, guys, the first video is on the 1st of March. The rules is on my community page. All right. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you haven't hit that bell, hit that notification bell because that's how you're going to know when I'm live. That's how you're going to know when I upload a new video. All right. You guys have a blessed and wonderful night. Peace, love, and blessing to each and every one of you. Good night. Thank you all. Thank you.